Alexander the Great, the very name echoes through history. He is a legend, a conqueror, a king shrouded in myth and wonder, but before the conquest and the legend, he was simply Alexander, a prince born in the kingdom of Macedon in 356 BC. His father was King Philip II, a fierce warrior in his own right. Philip dreamed of conquering Persia, the greatest empire the world had ever known. Alexander's mother was Olympias, a woman of fiery passion and fierce ambition. She instilled in her son a belief in his own destiny. She claimed divine ancestry for him. She whispered that he was not just a prince, but the son of a god. Alexander grew up surrounded by the warriors and philosophers of the Macedonian court. He listened to tales of their exploits. He learned the art of war and the ways of power, but Alexander was no ordinary prince. He possessed a sharp mind and an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. He yearned for more than just martial prowess. He longed to understand the world around him. He wanted to unravel the mysteries of philosophy, science, and the arts. Little did he know that these early lessons would shape him into the man who would change the course of history. The boy who would become a legend, the boy who would become Alexander the Great. At the age of 13, Alexander's education took an extraordinary turn. King Philip summoned the most renowned scholar in all of Greece, Aristotle. He tasked the philosopher with molding the young prince's mind. Aristotle came to the Macedonian capital of Pella. He saw in Alexander a student of rare intelligence and potential.
For 3 years, I tutored Alexander in a secluded grove outside the city. I taught him philosophy, logic, and rhetoric. I instructed him in the natural sciences, ethics, and politics. I recognized Alexander's insatiable curiosity. I encouraged him to question everything, to seek knowledge in all its forms.
Under Aristotle's guidance, Alexander developed a deep love for learning. He devoured books on history, poetry, and philosophy. He learned to think critically and to analyze situations from all angles. Aristotle also instilled in Alexander a deep respect for Greek culture. He taught him to admire the works of Homer, the tragedies of Sophocles, and the philosophies of Plato. These lessons would have a profound impact on Alexander's worldview. They would shape his vision for the future, and they would influence his interactions with the people he would conquer. At the age of 16, Alexander's world was shaken. His father, King Philip, was assassinated. The court was thrown into turmoil. Conspiracy theories abounded. Some whispered that Olympias, Alexander's mother, was behind the plot. Others pointed fingers at rival Macedonian nobles.
Amidst the chaos, I acted swiftly and decisively. I ruthlessly eliminated my rivals. I consolidated my power. At the age of 20, I was crowned king of Macedon. I inherited my father's powerful army. I also inherited his dream, the conquest of Persia. I was eager to prove myself. I was determined to surpass my father's achievements. I gathered my forces and prepared to march east. I was ready to unleash the might of the Macedonian army upon the world. I was ready to carve out my own legend in blood and glory.
In 334 BC, Alexander led his army across the Hellespont into Asia Minor. He was met at the Granicus River by a massive Persian army. The Persian forces were confident in their numbers. They underestimated the young Macedonian king. They would soon learn their mistake.
Alexander, with his characteristic boldness, led a cavalry charge directly at the heart of the Persian line. His companion cavalry, the elite of the Macedonian army, smashed into the Persian ranks. The battle was fierce, the fighting hand to hand. But Alexander's ferocity and tactical brilliance won the day. The Persian army was routed. Their legendary cavalry scattered before the Macedonian onslaught. The victory at Granicus sent shockwaves through the Persian Empire. The great king Darius III realized that he faced no ordinary enemy. This was not a mere border skirmish. This was a fight for survival.
Section 5. Conquering the known world.
Victory followed victory. Alexander's army swept through Asia Minor. City after city fell to the Macedonian invaders.
At Issus in 333 BC, Alexander faced Darius III in a battle that would decide the fate of the Persian Empire. The Persian king commanded a vast army. He had come to crush the Macedonian upstart.
The battle raged for hours. Persian arrows darkened the sky. Macedonian pikes clashed against Persian spears. But once again, Alexander's tactical genius proved decisive. He outmaneuvered the larger Persian army. He led a daring charge that shattered their lines.
Darius III, fearing for his life, fled the battlefield. The Persian Empire was on the verge of collapse. Section 6. A Vision of Unity.
Alexander's conquests were not solely driven by ambition and the pursuit of glory. He envisioned a world where cultures intertwined, a world where Greek and Persian traditions could coexist.
He began to adopt Persian customs. He wore Persian clothing. He incorporated Persian units into his army.
This policy of fusion, however, was met with resistance. Some of Alexander's Macedonian companions accused him of abandoning his roots. They saw his adoption of Persian customs as a betrayal.
But Alexander pressed on, determined to create a new world order. He believed that by embracing the cultures of the people he conquered, he could forge a stronger, more unified empire. He envisioned a world where Greek culture and learning would spread to the farthest corners of his empire. Section 7. The Seeds of Doubt.
Alexander's relentless campaigning took its toll. His army marched thousands of miles. They faced scorching deserts, treacherous mountains, and fierce enemies. The strain began to show.
Alexander, once known for his self-control, became prone to fits of rage and paranoia.
He grew suspicious of his closest companions. He executed several of his generals, accusing them of treason. In a drunken rage, he killed Clytus the Black, one of his most trusted commanders, and the man who had saved his life at the Battle of the Granicus River.
The incident haunted Alexander. It revealed the dark side of his ambition. The weight of his conquests, the endless wars, and the constant threat of betrayal were pushing him to the brink. Section 8. An Enduring Legacy.
In 323 BC, at the age of 32, Alexander the Great died in Babylon. The cause of his death remains a mystery. Some historians believe he succumbed to malaria or typhoid fever. Others suspect poisoning.
Whatever the cause, his empire, stretching from Greece to India, was plunged into chaos. His generals fought amongst themselves for control of his vast domains.
Alexander's empire may have been short-lived, but his legacy was profound and enduring. He had conquered the greatest empire the world had ever known. He had spread Greek language and culture across vast swaths of Asia. He had founded cities that would become centers of learning and commerce.
Alexander's conquests ushered in the Hellenistic Age, a period of cultural exchange and intellectual ferment that would shape the course of Western civilization. He remains one of the most fascinating and enigmatic figures in history. A brilliant military strategist, a ruthless conqueror, and a visionary leader who dreamed of a unified world.